Hi friends, in this session we are going to discuss about S3 bucket and how to store the objects into S3 bucket, and after that we are going to discuss how to make AWS S3 bucket and objects present in that S3 bucket public. So this is the main agenda of this session. So let's start our session now. So for this I am going to create a one S3 bucket, and in that S3 bucket I am going to store the data in an object format, and after that we will try to access the data from other browser. So to access the data from other browsers, so you should have a public access for that data, then only we'll able to access. So how to provide the public access to that bucket and the data we'll see in this session. It's not suggestible to provide public access to your data when you are working with your real-time applications. But for this example, I'm going to make my object, my bucket, and objects in my bucket. I'm making them as a public. But when you are working with your real-time projects, means your live projects, so this process is not suggestible. Making the objects, making the bucket public. So your bucket may contain sensitive data. If you are giving public access to that sensitive data, that data may be misused. So this is not at all acceptable when you are working with projects. For just practice purpose, you can make the objects public. Then how to achieve this public act means the access when you are working with your project. So there we are having IAM rule, identify access management web services there. With that, we will give the access to the S3 data to the particular user. So those things we will discuss in next sessions. But as of now, so when you are working with your real-time projects, so providing the public access to your S3 bucket and S3 objects is not at all suggestible, because if you are providing public access, so there might be a sensitive data which will be accessed by unauthorized persons. So we are not supposed to provide public access to your data. But how to achieve this functionality? So some user want to access my data, some specific user. So then we need to use IAM rules. So by using IAM rules, identify. So what is IAM is also one of the web service like EC2 S3. IAM is one of the web service provided by your AWS. So by which you can provide access to the particular user. You can restrict the access to the particular user. So those things we'll discuss in next sessions. So as of now, that is out of scope. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a one bucket, and in that bucket I'm going to add some data. So the data might be a text file or image or a jar file or a WAR file or a HTML file, anything. So whatever that, so that data will be stored in object. So I'm going to provide the public access to my bucket and my objects so that I can access the data from anywhere. So this is the basic agenda of this session. So now let me go to my PPT. So already I have discussed in my last session. So in my first example, so let me have a quick recap. So if you want to create a bucket, so the bucket name must be in between 3 to 63 characters, and bucket name can contain only lowercase letters, numbers, dot, and hyphen. Bucket name must begin and end with letter or a number. Bucket name should not be a IP address. Bucket name cannot begin with underscore. So these are the basic restrictions on your bucket name. So your bucket name should contain in between 3 to 63 characters. Bucket name should be lowercase letters and numbers, dots, hyphen. So these are the restrictions on your bucket number. And your bucket name should not start with underscore. So now let me go to see. So S3 is a safe place to store your files. So S3 stores the objects. So S3 stores your data in an object format. So it's a object-based storage, and the data is spread across multiple devices and facilities. S3 objects, sorry, S3 is an object base, and it can store up to 0 to 5 TB, and there is no limitation to your storage. Files, so where your files are going to store? So files are going to store in bucket. Next. So per account, you can create 100 buckets. So already with these things we discussed. So the bucket name should be unique, and this is your bucket ARN number. So these things I will show you. And if you upload some data to S3, so if it's successful, then it will return 200. Next thing is you can upload any number of objects into your S3 bucket. An Amazon S3 bucket name is globally unique, and the buckets are created in a region you specify. You can create 100 buckets for each account. There is no limit to the number of objects that can be stored in a bucket. So you cannot create a bucket inside another bucket. You can delete a bucket when you are not using that bucket, and you can reuse the bucket name. If you want, this is an important point. So now we are going to work on this point only. If others want, sorry, if you want others users or AWS resources to access your bucket, you have to make it as public. So now we are going to work on this point. And in my next example, I will work in this versioning. So these things we will discuss. Okay, let me quick. You can host a static website on Amazon S3. So if you want to host a static website, so Amazon S3 service is the best one. And Amazon S3 does not support server-side scripting. To host a static website, you configure an Amazon S3 bucket for your website hosting, and then you upload your website content to the bucket. The bucket must have a public access to read. So if you want to access your data from anywhere, so then you need to make that data public. So that is the one we are going to do now. So I want to create a new bucket. So for that, let me log into my AWS account. So I have already logged in, and currently I am in Mumbai region. So I am going to create my bucket in the Mumbai region. Now how to create? So go search S3 service here. So S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. So now I'm in S3 homepage. So if you look into this, I have already created one bucket in Asian Pacific region. and the bucket don't have a public access. So if I go to here, and so my bucket contains three objects. So I want to access this object. So how to access this? So my object URL. So let me go to here, copy. So you can copy this like this, copy, and let try to access. See, access denied because it don't have any public access. That's why we are unable to access. So when you are working with your real-time projects, so you are not supposed to provide public access to your S3 bucket data. By using IAM rules, you need to provide access to the specific users. But we are working with some example, and my object is not containing any sensitive data. So for our example, I am providing the public access for this. But now it don't have any public access. That's why I am unable to access this URL. So this is your ARN number. So we will discuss about this also later. So if you look into this, so in which region we have created? So Mumbai region we have created, and the size of the image. So it's a JPG, and what is the name, and what is the object URL, and what is the ARN number. So S3 URL, sorry URI, Universal Resource Indicator. So these are the things it's created. And here I have not enabled the versioning. So if you look at this, I have not enabled any versioning. So how to enable versioning, those things we will discuss in next session. So now I want to create one more bucket. So per account, how many buckets we can create? Per account we can create 100 buckets. So now in my account I am having only one bucket. So now I can able to create 99 accounts. Sorry, 99 buckets. So now I want to create one more bucket. So bucket name is EMP. So everything should be small letter. Hyphen public hyphen bucket. Let me tap out. Yes, it's there, it's available. And in which region I'm creating? Asian Pacific Mumbai, but it's a global access. So when you are creating a bucket, so bucket will be created in a specified region, but it will have a global access. That's why your bucket name should be unique. And by default, it will stored in standard storage. Standard storage. And how many replicas are going to create? Greater than or equal, 3 replicas are going to create. No. So this is my bucket name. So let me give only apply. See. So if I'm trying to take this bucket name, so let me create. See, already existing. So you are not supposed to take the same name. So that's why I'm taking employee but public bucket. So now, in which region? This is a region, and here I'm not going to change anything. So if you look into this advanced settings, so here also object lock I'm disabling. So nothing I'm going to change as of now. So now I'm clicking on create bucket. See, that bucket name is available. That's fine. It's creating the bucket. And the bucket is created in Asian Pacific Mumbai region, but the bucket will have a global access. Anyone can access. See, now I'm having how many buckets? Two buckets. Both are not having any public access. So this is our latest one we have created right now. Now go to this bucket. Now I want to upload some data. So for this, click on the upload. So here I want to add a file. So AWS folder I have created. Yes. So now I'm uploading a text. This sorry, it's a MP3. One second. Let me pause my video for a few seconds. Yeah, I have uploaded this MP3 file. So let me delete. So it's got deleted. Now I want to add a text file. So it's a file, not a folder. So now go to desktop. Have created a S3 folder. So this is a text file. So it's got uploaded. Now add another file. So this is an image. So this is a text file and it's an image. So I have uploaded. So editor. So both are uploaded one after the other. So let me upload one more file. Exit. So if you want to upload, so first go to the bucket. So in which bucket you want to upload? So this bucket I want to upload my data. So whatever the data, it might be text file, JPG file, anything. It will be stored as object. Now, so now upload. I want to upload a file. So let me go to desktop. I want to upload. Yeah, this one I want to upload. So now, if you go to here, so this versioning, all those things we'll discuss in that session. But when you go for additional upload options, click it here. See here, there are different types of storages. So this for this also I'm going to uh, have one more separate session. But as of now, so when you are uploading a file into your S3 bucket, so if you're not specifying the storage type, so by default it's going to store in standard storage, and the data is available across three regions. So three repeaters are going to create. So that's why data is secure. If one region, one data center goes down, then from other zones you will be able to access the data. And here one more thing is standard IA is there, and one zone IA is there, and Glacier is there. Glacier Deep Active is there. So these things we'll discuss when you are talking about S3 bucket lifecycle methods. So if you are not specifying, so by default the data will be stored in standard storage. So it will be replicated in three regions. So that's why data is secure. Now I'm not going to change anything. Let me upload. So now it's uploading. See, upload is successful. Now if you try to read this, so it will use 200 status code. Exit. Now let me go to the bucket. So this is my bucket name. How to go to bucket? Click it here. So this is my bucket, and see, everything is stored in standard storage only. Storage type is standard storage, and this is the storage size of each image. So here I'm having one JPG file, one text file, and one PNG file. In my This is my bucket name. Now, so I want to access this image outside this. So publicly. So click it here. This is the details about your image. So how to access? So grab this object here. So object name is this, and type is this JPG, and the size is this one, and created it bucket created at this region, Mumbai region, and this is URI, and this is ARN. So these things we'll discuss ARN later. So now, if you want to access the bucket, so by using object URL, you should be able to access. So copy it here, and so now I'm trying to access publicly. So now, see, we are unable to access. Access is denied because this object don't have a public access. So how to provide the access for this? So for this, so I don't. So go to bucket. So permissions. See here. So first go to this. So I want to provide a public access to this file. So now how to provide? So provide the public access to the bucket, and after that the data. So for that, go to the bucket. So see here, go to the bucket and go to permissions. See, if you look into this, block all public access for this particular bucket. So for that, edit, click it and edit. No, save, confirm. It's taking some time. Let's wait. So now, see, objects can be public. Now, let me go to this. So now, if I look into this, so this, see, this bucket is don't have public access, but this bucket is having public access because what we have done. So if you click it here and go to permissions, we made that previously blocked public access, but we are now it's accessible by public. Now go to the bucket. Now the bucket is public. Can we access this one? The data in the bucket. Oh, sorry. No. Again. Now what we have done is we made the bucket as public. Let me go to here. We are unable to access the bucket data. If you look at this, again I will show you. So we made the bucket as public, but not the data. We made the bucket as public. It's a little bit slow. Now, click it on the image. Now, grab this object URL. Look into this. See, still we are not able to access the objects of that bucket. So here what you have done is we made the bucket as public, but then not the data. So for that, again click it in the bucket and permissions. Now, see, we made the bucket as public now, but we have not provided any bucket policy to access your bucket data. To access your bucket data, you need to provide the bucket policy. So here no policy is present. So for that, you need to provide the bucket policy. It's very easy to write the bucket policy. So here you specify the bucket policy, then you will be able to read the bucket data. So for that, you need to provide some bucket policy here. It's very easy to provide the bucket policy. Let's see. Edit. Simple steps you need to follow. So now, so this is a bucket ARN name. So now we are in the edit bucket policy. Now, so click this one. Policy generator, because I don't know how to write a policy. So for that, AWS provides policy generator page from where you can generate your S3 bucket policies. So here, select the type of policy. So now I want to select policy for S3 bucket and effect is yellow. So I want to provide public access to my S3 bucket data. That's why I'm writing one policy. Bucket policy I'm writing. Now, principal. So as of now, there is no use. So here you need to specify the users. But as of now, we are not using any IAM rule. I am providing access to all the users. That's why use star here and here. AWS services, all services. And now actions. What actions you want to perform? I want to get the data, right? Here, what I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to get the data. So I want to read the data, that's it. So for that, go to here and get object. So if you want to delete, yes, delete object, modify object, just I want to get the object, that's it. So here, a number of things are there according to your requirement. But now, as of now, I want to get the object, that's it. Why I'm taking the object? Because the data in your S3 bucket is going to store as an object format. So now that's it. And ARN number. So what is ARN? So your bucket ARN. So for that, you can so I want to get the bucket ARN. That's why. So click it here, right click and open in a new tab. Now, how to know the bucket ARN? So I'm currently in my bucket. So go to properties. So this is my bucket ARN. Select this and copy it here and slash. I may have any subfolders also. For that, slash start. Nothing I have done. Now see, generate. Add the statement and generate the policy. So this is a policy. So this is your bucket resource name. Why I have given slash star means if you are having any other folders. So inside your bucket, you can create a folders also. So that's why slash star. Anything after this, you can provide public access for that. Now go to here, copy it and save. I have provided everything. So my why it is giving a error means it's saying it's a public, right? So you are providing a public access, so there may be a security threat to your data. That's why it's coming in red color. But in our objects, we don't have any sensitive data, then no issues. But when you are working with your projects, we won't provide public access to all the users. So, according to the IAM rules, we will provide. Please remember that. Let me refresh this. See, now we are able to access the data inside that particular bucket. Okay, let me go to my bucket again. So these are my buckets, and this is having a public access. And by using bucket policy, we provided policy to access the data, object data inside the bucket. That's right. Now you can able to access. Okay, click it here. Now grab this. Okay, this is the data in the file. How you provide it? By using this bucket policy. We provide we provided public access to the bucket data. To generate a policy, so your AWS will use a page, policy generation page, where you need to provide all your requirements. Because here in the principle we don't have any specific users, we want to provide access to all the users. That's why here I have provided stuff. When you are working with your IAM rules, so there you need to provide the ARN of that particular user. So those things we'll discuss. Because here why I have provided star means I want to give the access to all the users over a web. That's why I have provided star. Now if you go to this again buckets, see this is for these bucket objects only. I have provided the bucket policy. For this I have not provided. If you look into this also having a this object is also having a URL. But if I click it here, public access is denied. Why? Because for this bucket, I have not added any bucket policy. Let's see for this bucket. So go to permissions and see no bucket policy is there to access the data of that bucket. That's why we are not able to access the data publicly. But when you go to this bucket, we are able to access the data of this bucket over a web. Any user can access. Why? Because we have provided a bucket policy here. Allow, effect is allow all users, and the action is get, means it will provide read access, and the resource means your bucket ARN number name, sorry, ARN name. Okay, let me copy it here. See, allow means all the users. We are allowing all the users. So for all the users, what action we are allowing? Get the data, means get object. And for which bucket? This is a bucket. See, to this bucket. What is the ARN? How to identify that bucket with the ARN name? So go to properties. You will able to see the ARN name of that particular bucket. See, both are same. Why? Because I have given slash star means if we are having any folders, subfolders, we can able to create the folders also. So for that, after this, whatever the data presented in this bucket, we can read it. So here again one more time. So it's a simple JSON. So the version, the ID, and the statements will contain some ID. And this is not generated. This is generated by AWS only. And effect, allow, and principal. All the users, allow all the users, and what action we are allowing? Get object. So we are providing read access. And for which resource? So this resource. I am having n number of buckets. So in my AWS account. So for which bucket I want to provide the public access? For this bucket. How to identify that bucket? By their ARN name. So how to get that ARN name? So first go to here and go to the bucket name and click it in properties. After opening the bucket name, click on the properties. So you will able to get the ARN of that bucket. Amazon resource name ARN. So this is that bucket name. So that's why here we have provided that bucket name. So this is a way you can provide public access to your bucket data. But in real-time scenarios, it's not at all suggestible. We need to use IAM roles. So hope this is helpful. Thank you.